Do you know someone who's always the first to offer a hand, but the last to ask for one? The friend who will drop everything to help you move, listen to your problems for hours, but when you ask them how they're doing, they just say, "I'm fine," even when you can tell they're not. Or maybe, just maybe, that person is you. It's a beautiful quality to be caring and supportive, but there's a difference between healthy generosity and a pattern of self-neglect disguised as selflessness. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of people who always help others, often at their own expense. We'll explore why this happens and, most importantly, how to find a healthier balance. Let's start by understanding the why. This behavior, often called the savior complex or compulsive helping, isn't just about being a nice person. It's often rooted much deeper in our past experiences and psychological makeup. One of the biggest drivers is a deep-seated need for validation and self-worth. For some, their value as a person feels directly tied to how useful they are to others. They might have grown up in an environment where they only received praise or attention when they were taking care of someone else, a younger sibling, a sick parent, or just being the responsible one. As a result, their brain learned a simple, powerful equation: helping equals love. Being needed equals being worthy. This can create a subconscious fear that if they stop giving, they'll lose their value and, consequently, the love and connection they crave. They aren't just helping, they're constantly working to prove their worth. Another significant factor is the avoidance of one's own problems. Think about it. When you're completely absorbed in solving someone else's crisis, you don't have the time or mental energy to face your own. It's a highly effective, albeit temporary, distraction. Dealing with your own anxieties, disappointments, or feelings of emptiness can be incredibly painful and overwhelming. It's often easier to tackle a concrete, external problem, like helping a friend with a breakup, than to confront the abstract internal chaos you might be feeling. Helping others becomes a shield, protecting you from having to look in the mirror. This pattern can also be linked to what psychologists call a trauma response. For individuals who grew up in chaotic or unstable environments, developing a hyper-awareness of others' needs was a survival mechanism. They learned to anticipate a parent's mood swings or to placate an upset family member to keep the peace and stay safe. As adults, this hypervigilance continues. They are exquisitely tuned into the emotional states of those around them, often feeling responsible for managing everyone's happiness. Their nervous system is wired to detect distress and immediately try to fix it, because in their past, failing to do so could have had serious consequences. Then there's the issue of poor boundaries. People who constantly overgive often struggle to say no. They may feel intense guilt or fear that saying no will lead to conflict or rejection. They might not even know what their own limits are, because they've spent a lifetime ignoring them. The line between where they end and another person begins is blurry. They absorb others' emotions as their own and feel a compulsive responsibility to solve problems that aren't theirs to solve. This isn't just kindness. It's a lack of a personal emotional firewall. So, what does this look like in real life? It's the person who says yes to another project at work, even though they're already drowning in deadlines. It's the friend who stays up all night consoling you, despite having a huge presentation the next morning. On the surface, it looks heroic, but underneath, there's a cost. And that cost is high. The most immediate consequence is burnout. You simply can't pour from an empty cup. Constantly giving without replenishing your own physical, mental, and emotional reserves leads to exhaustion. You might feel perpetually tired, irritable, and unmotivated. Your own health can suffer, your work can decline, and your own life goals get pushed to the back burner, sometimes indefinitely. This can also lead to resentment. Even if you're helping willingly, a part of you might start to feel unappreciated or taken for granted, especially when you see that the same level of care isn't being reciprocated. You might find yourself thinking, after everything I do for them, why doesn't anyone ask how I'm doing? This resentment can poison relationships, turning what was once a genuine act of love into a bitter, unspoken transaction. Furthermore, this dynamic can hinder the growth of the people you're helping. When you constantly rush in to solve everyone's problems, you rob them of the opportunity to develop their own resilience and problem-solving skills. You might be inadvertently sending the message that you don't believe they're capable of handling things on their own, which can create a cycle of dependency. So, if you recognize yourself in this description, what can you do? The journey to a healthier balance isn't about becoming selfish. It's about practicing self-compassion. It's about learning to extend the same kindness and care you give to others to yourself. The first, and perhaps hardest, step is to give yourself permission. Permission to say no. Permission to have needs. Permission to put yourself first. Your needs are not a burden. They are a fundamental part of being human. Start small. The next time someone asks for a favor you don't have the capacity for, try saying, "I'd love to help, but I can't right now." You don't need a long excuse. No is a complete sentence. It will feel uncomfortable at first, maybe even terrifying. But every time you do it, you strengthen your boundary muscle. Secondly, start scheduling you time. Literally, block it out in your calendar as a non-negotiable appointment. Whether it's 30 minutes to read a book, go for a walk, or just sit in silence, treat it with the same importance as you would a meeting with your boss. This is your time to recharge and reconnect with yourself. During this time, ask yourself a simple question. What do I need right now? And then listen to the answer. Third, practice receiving. When someone offers to help you or gives you a compliment or wants to listen to your problems, let them. Your instinct might be to deflect and say, "Oh, it's nothing," or "Don't worry about me." Resist that urge. Simply say, "Thank you. I'd really appreciate that." Allowing others to care for you is not a sign of weakness. It's a vital part of healthy, reciprocal relationships. It allows others to feel good by giving, just as you do. And finally, if these patterns feel deeply ingrained and difficult to change on your own, consider talking to a therapist. A professional can help you unpack the root causes of your compulsive helping, heal old wounds, and develop strategies for building a stronger sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on the approval of others. There is immense strength in seeking support. Remember, the goal is not to stop helping people. The world needs your compassionate heart. The goal is to become a sustainable helper. To be a lighthouse, not a lifeboat. A lighthouse stands firm on its own foundation, shining its light to guide others without running itself aground. You can be a beacon of support for the people in your life, while also honoring your own needs, your own health, and your own journey. Learning to help yourself is the greatest act of service you can perform, because it ensures you'll be able to keep shining your light for a long, long time. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe for more content on psychology and self-growth. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.